All right, I have a quick episode for you today. If you are one of those moms who waits until the last minute to do everything, if you're a procrastinator, if you just don't have the time and energy to do it all, that's okay. If you've done nothing to prepare for your VBAC, you haven't done any mindset work, you haven't gone to the chiropractor, you haven't eaten any dates, it's okay. You're probably sitting here thinking, like, I'm going to go into labor here in the next few weeks and I've done nothing to prepare. What am I supposed to do? Well, I want to talk about my number one tip for that today. If you're one of those last minute moms, I'm your host, Hannah Gill, and this is Motherhood Flow. All right, if you're sitting here at the end of your pregnancy and you're looking back thinking, I have done nothing to prepare besides just be pregnant, that is okay. It is still possible. It is still likely for you to have a VBAC. Your body is capable. Just work through these limiting beliefs. But my number one tip, if you are one of those procrastinator moms who just does not have the time and energy to do anything to prepare besides just be pregnant, my number one tip for you is at the end of this pregnancy and going into labor, avoid unnecessary interventions for as long as possible. And when I'm talking about unnecessary interventions, I'm talking about cervical checks, I'm talking about membrane sweeps, inductions, epidurals, laboring only in the bed, that type of thing. And all of these things may be unnecessary, but they may also become medically necessary at some point. But if they're not medically necessary, avoid them as long as possible. Make a list of all the potential interventions that you could be facing and decide which ones you want and which ones you don't want, which ones are truly serving you and your pregnancy and your birth. For example, me personally, for my VBAC pregnancy, I decided to avoid cervical checks during pregnancy and avoid membrane sweeps and avoid induction as long as it wasn't medically necessary. I avoided an epidural. I did not have a continuous IV. I had limited cervical checks during the actual labor and birth process. I labored upright. I was not constrained to the bed. So those are all the unnecessary medical interventions that I avoided. And this is not to say that you cannot have a VBAC or be successful in that with intervention, but your chances are generally higher if you avoid unnecessary interventions. So as you approach the end of this pregnancy and your labor and birth experience, just make note of that and talk to your birth partner or your family or whoever is going to be there supporting you about the potential interventions and what all you're wanting to avoid to set yourself up for the best possible chances of having a VBAC. Now, if you are not late in your pregnancy, if you're in your first or second trimester, or even trying to conceive right now, and you're wanting to do all the things to prep, if you're that type of person, I know I was for my pregnancy, I wanted to do all the things. If you're wanting to have some more guidance with that, as far as mental and physical preparation, and you're wanting to take a course or have a community of women who are going through the same process as you, then you have 3 more days to join my VBAC is Your Birthright program, which is an 8-week transformative VBAC preparation program with live group calls with me and all the other women that are going through the program. There is course content, but there's also these live calls. And again, it's an 8-week program. Day 1 starts on October 21st, but enrollment will close this Thursday, October 17th, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're wanting to hop into this first live 8-week cohort, you need to do so by October 17th, which is this Thursday. And if you're wanting to go through this program, but not the live cohort version, you're just wanting a self-paced version that you can do on your own time whenever you want, I will be releasing that soon. I'll be releasing details maybe in a few weeks here once this live cohort gets started. And that will be able to be joined whenever, anytime you want, and you will have lifetime access to all of the materials in that program. If you're wanting to chat more about that, you can email me, Hannah Gill, at ebbandflowbirthco.com. You can reach out to me on Instagram or through my website. Again, I am happy to chat if you want any information about that program. Thank you so much for being here today and listening. If you found this episode or any other episodes of this podcast helpful and insightful or inspiring, please share with a friend, like and subscribe to the podcast, leave a review. Those are the easiest ways and the best ways for me to get this show out to everyone who may need it or who may want to listen to it. So thank you again. I appreciate you being here. Until next time, keep flowing. You just finished another episode of Motherhood Flow. For more, head over to thehannahgill.com or on Instagram @thehannahgill. As a reminder, this podcast is provided to you for educational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered a substitute for medical advice. Until next time, keep flowing.